This is Delhi. Please stand by for our next program. This is All India Radio. In our national program of talks tonight, we bring you an interview entitled The Tale of the Turban Traveller, in which intrepid traveller, adventurer and filmmaker Amarjeet Singh Chawla is in conversation with Naveen Gupta of All India Radio, Delhi.
Good evening and welcome to our national program of talks tonight. If I told you that my guest tonight is 63 years old, loves to drive his SUV through countries, you heard it right, through countries, through nations. In 2018-2019, he drove across 40,000 kilometers. That is 30 countries in Asia and Europe in his SUV from Delhi to London. And then next year, he undertook a 44,000 kilometer route in 29 states across the country and 6 neighboring countries, mainly SAARC countries. And then he went on a 10,000 kilometer spiritual journey to visit the places associated with the 9th Guru, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj, to mark the 4th Prakash Parv. He is none other than Amarjeet Singh Chawla. Amarjeet Ji, welcome to the studios of All India Radio Delhi.
Thank you, Ji. Thanks for having me here.
You were always a naughty child. You were brought up by your Nana, I believe.
Yes.
And you love to bribe your driver.
Yeah, exactly. You have done extensive research on me.
What was it like growing up?
Actually, when I was very little, a young kid, so I was very fond of cars and bikes. At the age of 9, I started learning car. And I used to sit on the lap of my driver and then used to handle only steering. And at the age of 13, I was ready to drive the car, and I was driving, and my first accident happened at the age of 13. Yeah, but it was a minor accident, and I survived. So that thing was going on.
You come from a typical business family, Amarjeet Ji?
Yes.
But how come in a business family you got these seeds of wanderlust?
Actually, the whole thing happened when I was 19 years old. I was a normal kid. I studied till class 12th, and then I gave up, didn't study more after that because I was not interested in studies. And I was doing the business. Maternal grandfather, my Nana, he opened a restaurant and the guest house for me. So I was handling that.
Where was this?
That was in Faridabad. And if you recall, 1979, that was that time. So 1979, there was a restaurant called Ramble here in Connaught Place, just opposite Regal Cinema, where these days the Palika parking is there.
Yes.
So right on the top of the Palika parking, there used to be a cafe, it was a Ramble.
Okay.
So I met a couple there. They were foreigners and they were backpackers.
Okay.
So they were traveling all over the world, and they came from Netherlands, and I just met them. There's a girl called Julia, so I met her first. And first meeting, if you meet somebody, you don't recall them. And suddenly, what happened in next week? I was in Faridabad, and Faridabad there used to be a resort called Bhatkal Lake.
Yes.
And Bhatkal Lake, they have a small pool, swimming pool, and a health club. So I used to go there every day with my friend. So that was the daily routine. So next week I was there and I found Julia there. She was swimming. So I said, how come you are here? So they said, we are staying here. So then her boyfriend, Robert, he also joined her. Then we became friends. My another friend, Kamal Jain, was a very close friend of mine. Unfortunately, he died last year. And then all 4 of us, we became very good friends. And I invited them to come to my guest house.
Okay.
So they stayed with us for 15 days. So when they left, then me and Kamal, we were discussing, when these guys can do, why can't we travel? So let's plan.
Okay.
And that time in 1979, me and Kamal, we both decided to travel the world on motorbike.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we asked our friend, I said, can you tell your father if he can sponsor us the bike? So he spoke to his father. Father said, okay, sponsor you the bike. So we got the bike. अब आया सवाल कि बिल्ली के गले में घंटी कौन बांधेगा? Because who is going to tell to the parents? Because parents are unaware. So then I asked my maternal grandfather, I said, I used to call him Bauji. So I said, Bauji, I have a dream. So he said, dream क्या क्यों होता है पंजाबी में? I said, I want to travel the world on motorbike. He said, what? You have just came into the business. So better you focus on your business rather than traveling here and there. The whole life is there. You can travel the world. When the time will come, you can go. This is not the time.
But you had to wait 40 years.
Yeah, and that was a time when we can't say anything to our parents.
This is your Nana?
Yeah, this is my Nana. He raised me. So I said, okay. Then that thing was here in my heart. And then gradually...
It used to pain you?
A lot.
Yeah?
Whenever I used to go abroad,
Uh,
because my father and mother, they were into the garment business.
yes.
So my maternal grandfather, he died after his death, and I was not interested to run the restaurant and joined my father's business. And that was garment business. And with garment business, I got an opportunity because we started export also to go abroad. And then I remember in 79, the first time I visited America, that was 87 or 88, we started garment export. And I got a chance to visit abroad. And when I started visiting abroad, then one thing I used to do, I never used to take the public transportation.
Okay.
I used to rent a car or a bike and travel the countryside on the bike or the car.
What made you take this huge journey of 40,000 kilometers across 30 countries in 2018-19?
That was when I took a retirement. I took active retirement from my business.
You handed over the business to your
I
son?
handed over my business to my son. I was 57 when I gave him the business.
Okay.
So in Patel Nagar, where I have my house is there. So we have a basement, and then basement I made a nice, beautiful chroma studio.
Okay.
And 1 year, and we used to make short films.
Okay.
And one of my short film, Dignity, that got an award from General V.K. Singh as well.
Okay.
So 1 year I made 85 films.
Oh.
And during that filmmaking, I come across to meet so many different people. And that time one guy came and he gave me a pitch to do an international journey. And that was the time I started thinking this was my dream. And I think now the time has come. I should focus what I really wanted to do.
What was the preparation for such a huge journey like?
There was a lot of preparation. It took me about 6 months to prepare the whole journey.
What were the stages?
Stages, the beginning is starting from the route plan. So earlier we decided to go to Southeast Asian countries, 7-8 countries here. Then I thought, if I am doing Southeast Asia, why not to do from Delhi to London where the road goes? Because from Delhi to London, that's the only place where you can go drive by your car.
No sea, no nothing?
There is sea, a couple of places, 2 or 3 places, that depend upon which route you take. Then only one place the sea comes, that is in France to when you go to England.
Okay.
So English Channel. So that place you have to go underwater. There is a tunnel. You can take a train. You can put your car on the train and that goes. Or you can go over the water. There is a ferries. So I decided to go to London instead of going to Southeast Asia.
So first you plan the route, then?
Yeah, first is the route planning. Route planning, then you have to take the permissions because there are a lot of permissions besides the visa, especially in China. China is the only country which was the most expensive, and I paid $9,780 for 4 people to cross China.
Oh.
That was without food, without staying, though they promised me to give the hotels and all, but they didn't. and on the contrary, I have to accommodate their guide also in our car and take care of his food and in China. So those 14 days was terrible, and $9,870 just to cross the China. In that fee, they give you a permission. Visa we have to take separately. They give you a permission. They give you a Chinese driving license, do your medical test for driving test and all. And they give you a Chinese number plate, which you have to carry in the front of your desk, your car. And they give you a guide who will escort you right from the border, entering border to China and exiting border to China. So that took a lot of time. So first is route planning, then you have to apply for the visas, then you have to apply for the permissions. And as such, from Indian government, you don't require any permission.
Okay.
And then you have to take a document from agency which is known as Carnet de Passage in French. Not many people, they spell it Carnet. So that is a document which is basically if you travel abroad and taking your assets, like that can be used in the exhibitions also and in the case of the cars also. So there are 63 countries who are participant of the Carnet.
Okay.
So you can take your car or they can bring your car into your country in those 63 countries. And some of the countries, they don't require carnet.
Okay.
So that also, then international driving license. That was
the paperwork.
The paperwork.
What was the crew? How many people were in the crew?
Initially, there were 4 of us. There were 3 people who were in my crew. There were cameramen and editor and all.
You were documenting the trip.
Yeah, I was completely documenting.
You've documented all your trips.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
I have got more than 90 terabyte data with me.
Oh my God.
Which is not yet edited because I immediately started the next journey.
You can start a TV channel, Amarjeet ji.
Yeah. So, and then there are a lot of other preparations which not many people, they don't know.
You're a vegetarian. How was it traveling from Delhi to London like?
London, China was the only place which was terrible in terms of having food, in terms of staying, in terms of the treatment. People say that we have a freedom. We don't respect our freedom here in our country. We have a freedom of speech and everything. In that country, you do not have anything. It's very unfortunate.
We Indians take everything for granted.
Yeah, we take it for granted. But I realized when I crossed the China, when I reached to the next country in Kyrgyzstan, my first vlog was that if you really wanted to respect your freedom, visit one time to China on by road.
By road.
And then you see how tough it is. It was really, really very tough. You can't speak to anyone, especially who's in uniform. Speak my sense in the sense that you cannot just mingle with him or take the photograph. You cannot take the photographs of any government buildings. On the contrary, when we were crossing the border and the custom people, they were excited to see my car and all, and then we were driving from India. So they took the pictures with us. But we were not allowed to take any pictures at all. And if they found any pictures, then you had it. Then there's a big issue.
You ever thought of sitting down and writing a book?
I did, but book writing is a lot big exercise. So I found one ghostwriter who was interested to write. Then I started recording. On the trip, I never used to write. I always used to record. Whatever thought comes in my mind or whatever the whole day experience, everyday experience. So I have a voice diary, the date wise.
Next year, you took another epic journey that was 29 states all over India and 6 countries. What was that for?
Yeah, once we finished this journey, still remember when I was in London. So the first thought in my mind is, what? It's finished? So I thought it's not finished. This is just the beginning of my
lifelong
upcoming journeys. And on the way, in Netherlands, I met an American newspaper guy. He was very excited to see and know about my journey. Then he asked one question, which I didn't have any reply for that. He said, it's very nice that you guys are moving all around the world, but have you traveled in your own country?
Wow.
I said, yes. And I did travel in my country, in India, but not fully. So he said, how many states you have in your country? Then honestly speaking, I have no answers because I didn't know that we have 29 states.
You were clean bowled.
Yeah, I was clean bowled. So I just opened the Google and found we have 29 states. That time, Kashmir was not made into different states.
UT.
Yeah, UT. So then I told him, I said, look, gentlemen, I'm really sorry. I didn't know about how many states we have. But now I know we have 29 states. And I do know that in your country, because he was from America, that in your country you have 50 states because I lived there for 5 years. And I promise you, once I go back, first I do my 29 states and then come to US and do your 50 also. And then he became friend. And after 2-3 weeks, he calls me or he sends me a message. So what's your plan? What's going on? And when I came back, then I was focused to do the journey in India. And that time I realized that there's a 550th birthday of our first Guru, Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji. His 550th birth anniversary was coming. So I was very excited because I knew that he was the largest traveler and he traveled 28 long years. And fortunately, I came across to meet one historian. He gave me all of his research, unpublished research on Guru Nanak Dev Ji.
So Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj's roots, you mean you had?
Absolute, complete route, complete history of Guru Nanak, that what happened at what place, the distances and everything. And those 3 books, spiral-minded books, which were not published yet, he gave me in my hand. So I said, this is something really big thing I have now. I have a responsibility.
You were being blessed by Guru Nanak himself.
Yes, absolutely I was blessed. Then second thing I approached, then in Punjabi, that was the only channel, the biggest channel. So they really liked the idea and they said, okay, you go ahead, we support you and we are ready to air and besides our social media platform. So that was a big boost. And when I was reading the history of Guru Nanak, and I was surprised and found that Guru Nanak Dev Ji, at present time, if you see, out of 29 states, he visited 27 states already. And that time I got a purpose of my life. I said, now I'm going to do the Guru Nanak Dev Ji's journey, and I will do all 29 states.
Udasis.
Udasis, we call it Udasis. So we did 3 Udasis, first, second and third. 4th Udasis, which is Pakistan and beyond, that is still pending because of the visas issues and all, when COVID came. So me and my wife, we traveled.
Oh, you took your wife this
yes,
time?
at that time I took, because first trip, that was absolutely, I was blank. I didn't know anything about travel or how I can travel, and can I drive so many miles, and so I have to check my ability as
Amarjeet ji, if you don't mind, may I ask you, you are a heavy set burly man. Do you have health problems?
I do have a lot of health problems.
Such as?
Yes, I have diabetes, those are borderline. I have a high cholesterol, blood pressure. I have a stunt I recently happened last year.
You have a stent in your heart.
In my heart.
And despite all these things,
and I have the major problem for driving. I have a blood clot issue in my leg. So if I put down my leg for a long time, there can be an issue of blood clot in my right leg.
How does your family allow you to go on such long journeys?
my father asked me the same question. He said, do you know, you are asking about, because that first time I asked my maternal grandfather, my Nana, that I want to travel, he stopped me. And this time I asked my father. My father, he's 87. And I asked him, Dad, I wanted to go. He said, can you do this? You just see your health. You have so many issues. Can you do this? He said, Dad, I don't know whether I can do it or not. But I do know that I have to do it. And
You have to do it.
I have to do it.
What about Mrs. at home? Doesn't she tell you that, Sardaji, you're crazy? What you're doing?
No. She was very supportive. My whole family was very supportive. First I asked my dad. Then I asked my son.
Your mom? She allows you?
Everybody was very, very supportive. My mom was a bit reluctant, as all mothers are, that you are going in such a long
How old
trip.
is mommy?
My mom, she's 83. So my parents, they live with me. And I have a big issue because I can't leave my parents alone. So then I asked my son, I said, this is my dream I wanted to fulfill. He said, Dad, what are you waiting for? Just go and finish your dreams. I am here, don't worry. I will take care of everything. I will take care of grandparents. And you just go. Then at the last, I asked my wife. I said, you know...
Prime Minister of the House.
I said, you know that this is my dream and I've been chasing it from past 40 years since we got married. He said, then what are you waiting for? Since I got married, I've been listening, I will go, I will go, I will go. When you are going to go? Just go and do it. So that kind of a support when you get from your family, then there is no limit.
You're a lucky man.
Yeah.
Do you count your blessings every day?
Yes, every day. Because I'm supported by my family, I'm supported by Almighty God. And the funny part is, even today, when I'm on a driving seat, nothing's bothering me. I just went to Chandigarh last week, and there was 4 or 5 hours journey. I drove myself, came back. My parents, they also accompanied me. Though the driver was with us, he was sitting at the back, I was driving. And no issues at all. No tiredness or no this blood clotting issue or anything else.
Nothing bothers you?
Nothing bothers me.
Once you're driving?
Once I'm driving. And I don't care. I drove the largest drive I took, that was from down south Italy to cross Switzerland and then the Germany and Switzerland border to meet Ma Anand Sheila, who was the Osho secretary, to took her interview. And then come back again to Italy and took a flight and come back to India.
How long was that
That
journey?
was 19 hours, driving hours.
You've done so much traveling, you must have seen all kinds of human behavior. Tell me, where did you meet the most kind people?
If you ask me, honestly, I tell you, the whole world is so beautiful. The people are very nice. We undermine them. If something happens wrong in some country or with some people, we brand them, the whole community, we brand the whole country that these are bad. No one is bad. This is our only experience which make them bad. I don't say bad people doesn't exist. They do. But 99% people in this world are so nice.
So in China you met kind people?
Yes, everywhere. Not in China. I had an issue with the authorities, not with the common people. Common people are very, very nice. They're very cooperative. They were very excited to see. And I had the privilege of my turban and my car, which is full of, signatures, and my clothes, which are very colorful. So that was, if I'm standing with a million people with my turban, so I can be recognized from the distance. Wow, he's the guy. Who is this man wearing this colorful hat, and they don't know that it's a turban. And then when they used to come to me, I don't have to go to them. They used to come to me, and when they see me and they say, the first reaction used to be, wow. And then when they come to know that I'm driving from India, then they said, how? Because
Wow, how?
Wow, how? And because they also do not know that from India to London you can go by road. Lot many people, developed countries, they do not know. And then third asked question there used to be, why? And when I tell them that this was my childhood dream, 40 years old dream, and I'm driving to fulfill my dream, then they were very, very kind. And then unconditional love. I found I have more than 70 stories where people treated me, they took me their home, we were offered food, we were offered shelter, or so many things. I still have those stories with me, which when I'm going to reveal that videos, and one by one I'm going to tell the whole world, those videos will come.
Amarjeet ji, tell me something. You dig in your own pockets. You don't have any sponsors. So it must be pretty expensive planning such journeys.
Yeah, it was. I do have some sponsors, but they were not cash sponsors.
Okay.
They were kind sponsors. Like I belong to film industry, so I have many connections. So camera and equipments were supported. That was a big support to me. And I think that time I was calculating, I got more than 27 lakh rupees of equipments, which I got it from various different companies.
But everything else you have to depend on your own pockets.
Yes. First journey, nobody sponsored me, but two governments. One is Swiss government, and the next was Kyrgyzstan government, and Swiss government, and Austrian government. So there were three sponsors. Their cultural departments supported me.
See.
And we were given 1 week free stay, 4 rooms in Switzerland. And I got one guy also who supported me throughout the journey. They call it a fixer. He was with us to show around the whole Switzerland. And similar thing happened in Austria also. So those were 3 countries where I got some support. Otherwise, all the money was my own savings, which I used for this journey. And I spent it about 35 lakh rupees. Subsequent journey, I didn't spend much because then I got some sponsors also. And then I was supported by the Gurdwara committee. Then I was supported by the Punjab Tourism. So they gave me a place to stay on all government rest house.
But when you're traveling, life must be very difficult. You must be finding it very difficult. You don't get a 5-star everywhere.
Not for me, actually. Yeah, this is a very good question you have asked. I was born with the golden spoon. My Nana, he was filthy rich. I had never seen the other side of the coin. Till date, when I started the Guru Nanak Dev Ji journey, even to Delhi to London, we used to stay in an Airbnb apartment or sometime in a good hotel. So I didn't compromise on my food or stay. But when I started this Guru Nanak Dev Ji journey, so we have a saying, because that was a spiritual journey. And we decided, me and my wife, we both decided we will go and eat in the Gurdwaras, our langar, and stay in the Gurdwaras guest house, what they call it, the sarai. So in those sarai, sometimes there is a good room, sometimes there is the worst room. And the bathroom was, in some of the places, was really very, very bad. Even my driver won't go to use that bathroom. That was so bad. But we didn't complain. Because whole day we were shooting, we were traveling to the Gurdwaras. That night, when me and my wife used to go to the bed, it's absolute sound sleep. And next morning, we were fresh. It was because for us, that was not a job. For me and my wife, that was a mission. And there was no U-turning. We have to finish the journey. So all 3 meals we has to have Gurdwaras. We don't have to pay for the Gurdwara. We used to stay in the Gurdwara sarai, good sarai, bad sarai, all kind of sarai. So I literally experienced that to live your life, you don't need too many things. What you need is only 2 things. Place to stay, a shelter basically, and you need 2 rotis. And in Gurdwaras, when you go, they have big rotis.
Yeah. And that's where you learn the mantra Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The whole world is my family.
The whole world is your family, and you can live in a minimum resources. Rest all, whatever we do, this is all lifafe-bazi, what we call. So now I am writing a book and I'm doing a journey which is called Zero Money. My next mission is Zero Money.
Zero, you wouldn't travel without any money?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a web series which I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Zero money. So you don't need money. You don't need money means you don't need your own money to travel. If you have knowledge, you can travel without the money. You have many sponsors. But the only thing, your project has to be believable by other people.
In fact, you become a celebrity and you met a lot of celebrities. You met Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I met Arnold, yes.
And he signed on your car, the car which we saw outside.
Yeah.
How did you meet him?
That was destined. If I recall now, I never planned anything. You'll be surprised. People planned. I planned my basic journey, that from Delhi to London, where I can go. Earlier on my car, I have written there 23,000 kilometers, 23 countries. And on the way, I became sick. So I had some health issues. My whole left side was numb. This was in Russia.
Okay.
So I crossed the border and went to Estonia, parked my car, came back to India. I was hospitalized for 1 week and then 3 weeks because of bed rest. And after that, when I became all right, doctor gave me a clean sheet. Yes, you can travel. And my family told me, why you wanted to travel now? You have fulfilled your dreams. Rest you can do later. I said, no, now I will go back. And when I go back, me and my cameraman, his name was Lukman. So I said, Lukman, take out the map. So we opened the map and put it on the front of the car and said, count the countries. Now we will do all the countries which comes under the Schengen visa. So there are 27 countries under Schengen visa. We did 26. So 33 countries in fact, and 40,000 kilometers. So it was not planned. It happened. Similarly, meeting these different people. I remember when we were in Budapest, Hungary. It was, I think, 10 o'clock in the evening, and one guy, we stopped a car to eat food. And there was a Pakistani small restaurant. So we were just parked there. So one car, he passed, and they stopped and came back again. He said, you guys are from India? I said, yes. So he was basically not a producer. We call it fixer in our language. So they manage all your locations and all those kind of stuff.
Production manager.
Production manager, you can say. His name was Tito. So he came, he said, this is my card. So I have a small cafe. Why don't you come tomorrow and just have a coffee with me? So next day we went to Tito's place. And he said, Amarjeet, in fact, I really wanted to give you a big surprise, but I'm sorry, I couldn't do that. I was curious, I said, what? He said, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's here, and I manage all his locations. And his was last movie, Dark Fate. So he was shooting there for the past couple of months. But now there is a protocol, so I cannot take you there. So I said, okay, no problem. But can you tell me where he's staying? He said, that I can tell you, but off the camera. So we switch off the camera, and then he told me, you go to the hotel, and if his car is standing outside, then it means he's there. And I found there were many people standing near my car.
Okay.
And the door boy who was outside, he said, sir, is this your car? I said, yes. So can I take a picture with you? I said, okay. Then I asked a favor from him. I said, look, I know it's a protocol. You're not going to disclose that Arnold lives here or not. But can you introduce me any of his crew member? He said, sir, okay, I will try. Then I came back to my car. He was just across the street. And he was talking to some big guy. He was 7 foot tall. And he was talking for 10-15 minutes. Then I got curious. I said, I jumped in. And I jumped in, and then he said, he's the guy who's in security in charge of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Then I asked him, I said, look, I'm a very big fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I know he's here. Nobody's allowing me to, meet him. And I traveled all the way from India and going to London. I just wanted to meet him and just wanted to request him to sign on my car. He said, okay, sir, I will inform my boss, and if he likes, then we will call you.
Okay.
I said, okay, I gave him my local number. And after 15 minutes, I'm getting a call from him. I said, yes, sir, you can meet my boss tomorrow morning at 8:30. And next day, 8 o'clock, we were there. He was very late. He came about, I think, 10 o'clock. But we were informed every after 15 minutes with apology. Sorry, sir, my boss is late. And we're really sorry, you have to wait. And 10 times he must have said sorry. And then finally Arnold came, and then he met me and he asked about my journey, and he was very kind. And after he met me, he signed on my car and everything was over. Then he left, and then suddenly my boys, my two cameramen, he asked, sir, hamara photo to reh gaya. I said, now what to do? You should have told me that time. Then I again went to David, this security guy. I said, David, my guys, they're left alone. They want to take a picture. He said, Amarjeet, I have done enough for you. Now I can't tell my boss to take a picture, but he's very kind. Do one thing, tell your crew to stand near the elevator, and when he comes, request him. So both of guys, they went and stand in the elevator. He came, they requested, he said, okay. So on the walking, they were taking a picture, and one picture got blurred. So my cameraman, he was telling the other guy, my picture got blurred, and he overheard. And when he came out, so he was near to his car, and I was standing there. My guys were there, and they were complaining, picture to theek aaya nahi, sir. Then he shouted from there. He said, hey guys, have you got your shot right? So my guy says, no. I say, come on. And then guys went there, and then they took pictures.
Right. You are also going to US, I believe, to buy a caravan. So
yes, because Zero Money, the whole concept based upon that we are not going to stay in any hotel. We will be staying in our own caravan.
Amarjeet Chawla, people like you make this world a beautiful place to live in, because people like you spread love, peace, and Indianness all around. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much for having me at your show.
In our national program of talks tonight, you just heard the interview entitled The Tale of the Turban Traveller, in which intrepid traveller, adventurer and filmmaker Amarjeet Singh Chawla was in conversation with Naveen K. Gupta of All India Radio, Delhi. Produced by Naveen K. Gupta, this program came to you from the Delhi station of All India Radio.